Welcome to episode 12. It's me introducing this time round.
Yeah.
I've been promoted. Turns out we're getting rid of Josh.
I'm old.
He's old news. Mace is soon to be filling in. Now, today we're going to talk about off-seasons, going to do a Q&A, and then for a little bit of fun at the end, we're going to do facts or bullshit. Because I always call that bullshit.
There's plenty of bullshit.
Yeah. We love a bit of bullshit.
Right, well, let's kick off with some questions, as always. And it's always a good way to get started. So, there's a few to go through again. This is a pretty good one. If you weren't all coaches, where do you think your career path would have gone?
OnlyFans.
Following on from last podcast.
It's funny, actually, because I always said when I was working in insurance, which was my job before I did the coaching thing.
And mine.
That's a miserable life, innit? I always said that if I did another job, I would either be like a letting agent, because all they seem to do is get paid a lot of money to spend a lot of time in meetings, or I was going to be a WWE wrestler.
I can see that for you.
Especially on an angry day.
Yeah.
I got a mean clothesline, and I don't know if any of you
when Josh took her snack allowance,
but I am
getting throat slapped.
The undisputed rodeo ball queen. So
what would be your what would
you wrestling name?
I was going to say, what's your wrestling name? Yeah,
the Bull Tamer.
Is it like your hooker name where you take your first pet
like
name or something like that?
I mean, I don't have any pets, so would I just be Jodi?
That whole algorithm.
Hulk Joden.
Do you know what I'd probably go back to now? I'd probably go back to my roots and just go to farming. Just for a fucking peaceful life.
I did horse riding instructing in my younger days, and if that paid me enough money, I'd quite happily go back and do that. How about you?
Me?
Yeah.
If I didn't do this, I'm just glad it worked because I have no idea.
If you didn't do this, what would you do?
Well,
meth.
Yeah, more drugs. No, I started out working with my dad. He's a bricklayer, so I started working with him. Went to uni, got a degree in construction project management. Did that. Hated construction in the form of like working as a project manager. No, if I didn't do that, to be honest, I'd do something with like property development. I think that's where I'd want to go down. If I didn't do this, but
I've always just done whatever pays the bills. That's why I said OnlyFans, because that's paying wedge.
What would your
days.
OnlyFans be though? Because like some people do pictures of feet, innit?
Whatever pays.
Whatever pays.
Gay for pay.
There's a very niche market, I think. Like we get DM'd all the time by obviously gay men.
Mate, Ryan Dolan made like £1,900 in like the space of 9 days.
I can believe it. Yeah.
By just guys wanting to send him money.
Someone earned 50 grand in like a day for farts in a jar.
Mate, unreal.
Like, do you rethink your answer now?
Yeah.
I think I could do that.
I actually don't. Yeah, I do something in construction.
I've never really, every career or every job I should have said rather than career, it's never really been what I wanted to do. It was more just making the best of whatever situation came across.
This is the only job I can imagine doing that I enjoy.
Yeah. Like outside of like something with animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was younger, did my work experience with the RAF dogs. So like the explosives dogs and stuff, that was sick. Like I'd love to do something like that.
That's quite an interesting job. Well, yeah, it's a tough one. I'm just glad this works.
Yeah. And still working. Keep signing up. Keep paying.
Link is in the bio.
Yeah.
Fill in the form now. Josh has to go back to the farm.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my Clarkson's farm.
That'd be unreal.
Yeah,
imagine
that'd be sick.
Be fucking, what's his face? Is it Caleb?
Caleb.
And just going on tour. It's like, what did he go on tour for?
Yeah, what's he got on tour for? Like a comedy tour or something. Right, next question. Let me find a good one.
Basically, if he hasn't answered your question, it's because he doesn't think it's a good one.
Yeah.
What's that one you're avoiding in purple?
That one, that's the ones that NGL
top.
send you.
At the top.
Oh, have you not turned them off?
That one.
Yeah, it's an NGL one.
Oh, is it?
That look.
Oh,
And they were
I
singing
was told
stupid.
people are crushing on you.
How many times though do you see people answer them? I'm like, that's an NGL question, mate. You weirdo.
Just turn it
Didn't
off.
we have this conversation last time where we told you to turn them off?
Can you turn them out? I don't know.
He doesn't listen to us,
No.
basically.
Because Nick hasn't done it for him.
Yeah, admin job that. Right, thoughts on girls running Winstrol, category dependent, bigger girls. How long is the max you'd say?
I don't know anything about Winstrol.
Category dependent, so I'm assuming you're talking like figure and upwards.
I've known bikini girls take it, but just before you get into it, for anyone that doesn't know what Winstrol is, do we have
It's
a
an
summary?
oral steroid of
DHT
high
inhibitor.
potency.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that I think actually thinned out my hair last prep was
Yeah,
the
it's had that
Winnie.
kind of reputation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I never have any females running Winstrol. I just don't see a need for it.
I know friends that do it with girls. They pull the Anavar and run Winnie instead, but you get the cosmetic hardening effect from Anavar, but then you get a little bit of fullness. And for a category like a female category, it tends to be you want them fuller rather than you want them drier.
Yeah, I mean, when you look into drugs for the answer, I mean, most PDs are going to have that cosmetic effect of a little bit more fullness and hardness. Like, they're all generally going to have that. But like when people are going, oh yeah, but it gets you grainy, I'm like, it's body fat. Let's face it, it's body fat that. So just get leaner. It's obviously quite a harsh drug, so it's a bit more toxic on the body.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd always lean into Anavar beyond Winstrol. I mean,
Quite a lot of people run into acid reflux with Winstrol as well.
Yeah, if you was going to use Winstrol, it'd be for as little time as possible. Again, max exposure from like 4 weeks, and again, be very, very sensible with the dose. But yeah, I typically avoid the females.
Yeah. Or just use Anavar or Primo.
Yeah, I don't use... this might be a good one. Some good amateur bikini girls for inspiration, not competed before.
Not competed before.
Do you know
What's
any?
that?
Any good amateur bikini girls that have not competed before that you know of?
See, I mean, I've got my own clients, but I don't think it's fair to start. I'm not going to mention my own clients.
I mean, she's competed now, but obviously the one this year was River, because obviously in 2 shows she became an IFBB pro.
She's competed before, though.
Yeah, she's competed
was she?
before.
Yeah. This wasn't her first
Oh,
show.
I thought the regional was her first.
No.
That's her first show this year. She's definitely competed before.
It's a hard one to say, really, because obviously you don't
know until they turn up.
No.
Well, I know that I just stay focused on my clients. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love browsing to see what it's about. I'm a big fan of the sport, so I just love seeing sick athletes. Like
I've not seen any that pop to mind. I know there's going to be a few good girls that I know of in like the first time as wellness.
Yeah,
should be a good class.
That's actually
Charlotte.
That's actually probably a good one. There's that I said it to you, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago, that because there's 2 of the girls that are going to be in that wellness class, they're going to go against Josh's class, and they both are out of my gym, and they are both good. They are both good. Like, if anything, they are better than the standard I've seen from wellness all season.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say from what I know of my clients that I've got competing and some of my posing clients that are competing is that first time is 6 for bikini looks quite hot competition.
Yeah. And the first time shows are always quite good, because this is the thing, like, there's people come that you don't know of.
That September show is always fucking jack standard.
Yeah.
And obviously now it's at Telford International Centre, it's that big.
But no, I can't help with that one. Sorry, I don't really know that many people. I've not seen that many people in bikini that are coming up, really.
And I think it's really hard if they've not competed either for you to really know
it doesn't mean
how they
to
stack up. Because it's like you can look at an athlete and be like, that's an impressive physique. But then you see it on stage and it doesn't quite translate the same.
Because you've got no comparison. Everyone, how many fitness influencers look great on their own, and then you stand them next to someone that actually trains, that isn't just genetically gifted on dispersing their body fat really well, and you go, there's the difference. Like, there's a big fucking difference there. Well, it's like, what's the Gymshark dude, David? You know, the one that's been with him for ages. Is it David Lade or something like that?
Oh, I know his name now.
But he's like 60 kilos dripping wet.
Yeah.
Like, he trained with Sebum on one of his YouTubes with someone else. Oh, Sam Sulik, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mate, small child. My girl's is bigger than him. Do you know what I mean? Like, but put him in the right light and on an Instagram photo on his own,
Deceiving.
he looks amazing.
Yeah, I think we all know
So
now as coaches that you can't hang your hat on anybody unless you're seeing them in person and seeing what they look like
Stood
up on
next
that
to people.
stage.
until you have a comparison next to a group of people, I don't really give anyone too much weight in. I can see potential in people.
Yeah, of course. I think we'd be pretty shit coaches if we couldn't
Yeah.
see the potential in someone. Like, I know I've got a few clients that I'm like, potentially,
Yeah.
they could do very well. But you don't know who they're going to turn up against, and you don't know what that look is going to look like against other people. So it's a wait and see on the day. I think if you were asking us about people that have been on stage before who could potentially do well this season, then I think that's probably a question that most of us could answer more solidly.
Straight off the bat, out of my girls, I think Hope's got ridiculous ridiculous potential. I think I just look at her and I think IFBB Bikini Pro. Like how high that can go is obviously after that I don't know. But.
No, so for me this year, like Anya's looking sick. Like
Yeah, she looks sick every fucking year though, and it's
I know,
just
but this is the
like,
best she's looked. I think.
Yeah.
It's just a condition thing with Anya. She just needs to be that touch sharper, just to have the glute popping a little bit more, and then I think.
My opinion on it has always been that she's probably always just needed that little bit more muscle. Do you know what I mean? To give that dimension to her physique. But like this year, she posted a check-in not that long ago, and I was like,
I've always liked her physique.
it's the shape.
It's a side shot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The next one. Do you think politics plays a part in some placings? No. I just don't think so. I've been at that many shows. I mean, there might be the odd occasion that there might be. I mean, the biggest controversy is probably the Larry Wheels thing, I suppose, at the start of the year.
That would the muscle contest island is rife for being political.
That's what everyone reckons with that. But I mean, I don't know. I wasn't
Loads
there.
of people came out of the woodwork with that.
One thing I'm very conscious of is I never really comment unless I'm there, because I know how much of a difference it does make looking at pictures compared to being at a show. But yeah, that people have said that's quite controversial. Obviously, being a big name, but for the most part, like again,
Sam Sulik as well was a borderline one. Do you know what I mean? At the same sort of time.
When you see like the coaches, for example, winning, you see them being beat as well, like the clients being beat. But that's people don't see the loss; they see the win.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's politics. I think that there's an element of human nature in judging that people really overlook and dismiss, in a sense of like, if you have seen someone a few times and you recognise them, they're going to be more present in your mind because you know them. I don't think it's necessarily that they're going, oh, that person's coached by this person, so we're going to give them the win. I think it's more a case of like, if you've been seen a few times, then you're going to be more recognised, and if you're more recognised, you're probably going to be remembered
Your eyes
better.
get drawn together.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that would be the sole reason for making a decision. You'd have to justify that and be like, was that person actually winner worthy? Because if they're not, then
one of the most baffling things that we talked about it last week, and obviously this is at the pro level, but was the Justin Shire placing. Yeah. I think everyone's sort of been a bit like, what? And one thing that it's not politics, but I disagree with the comments coming back from the judge was he said, I didn't think you looked improved compared to the last time you stepped on stage. And that was his feedback on why he placed the way he placed, rather than like actually saying, well,
you need to improve X.
No, the other guys were this and this. His comments were, I didn't think you were
You're judging this show now.
Yeah, you're judging this show now.
Not last
and his
time.
feedback were comments was, I wanted you better than what you won the show, because he won the Chicago.
But he was better as well.
But he was better. He was categorically, you put the photos next to it, he was 15 pounds heavier and leaner. So the judge had already made his mind up in his head, because he was expecting Justin to come out looking a certain way, and he was expecting a more impressive Justin rather than that he was more impressive.
But he was more impressive. That's the weird thing.
And that was the comments that have come back from that judge, and that's what obviously.
But again, I don't think that's political.
But that's not political. But that's just
judging.
That's the judge not judging what's in front of him. More making a bias on what he wants out of Justin before he even steps on stage, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think everyone wants to believe that, like,
everyone just wants to be in the case it's not them. It's not them.
It's they want to believe that the judges should just be robotic with no human element to them. And I think, like, in an ideal world, yes, of course that would be the case, but that bodybuilding's subjective for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Each of us thinks and interprets things differently, and the judges are no exception to that.
Well, I got the feedback for Jade with Tariq, obviously, at the Bradford show, because obviously we'd been in front of Tariq at Portugal and 2 weeks later in front of him again. So obviously, but this time round, it's easier to have a conversation with him at Bradford than obviously at the Amateur Olympia Portugal. And one of the most interesting comments that he said was like, I don't even know what colour your hair is. He was just like, he's like, we don't have time to notice the insignificant things of whether you've got a piercing in, what colour your fucking hair, what colour your hair is.
We're looking at your physique.
He's like, I'm literally looking at your glutes and hams straight away and your delts, and he's like, and because I've got to make a split decision straight away. So he's like, I don't even know what colour your hair is, and I was just like, and this is why I sort of say to the girls, and especially competing, is like, don't get too worked up over your makeup has to be perfect. Don't get too comfortable. Don't get too worked up that your hair has to be a certain way. Just make sure that it's a hairstyle that you're confident in, that you can flow with and everything like this, and that you feel comfortable and sexy and confident in your makeup or something like that. Yeah. Because like they're most of the time they ain't got time to spend going, has she done her fucking, does she look all right? And they go, no, turn to the back, like, how's your glute and ham tie and look in, right, okay.
That's why I always say the same about when people are thinking about things like, oh, what type of earrings should I get to match my bikini? It's like, no one cares. Like, they're not looking at that. If they are, you've got bigger problems than what your earrings look like. And as well, it's even with posing, I always say to people, because particularly I think as women, girls will analyse over the smallest details, and it's like, look, they're not just looking at you on stage, they are scanning you. So it's like, you want the posing to be good enough that when they scan you, you look like as good as you want to be, but not to the point where you're agonising. The judges aren't going, oh, that pose would be better if your foot was 3 degrees more to the right. Like, they're not looking at you
because
that
obviously we and that's a big thing that we can, because I've even had conversations, because I've even said like, yeah, it could be this, but I'm looking at your checking photo. But the reality is, when there's 5 judges at you, one's looking at you like that, one's looking at you like that, and one's looking at you like that. Not
straight on.
So nobody's straight on, apart from like, unless you're dead center in the middle. Do you know what I mean? From that side of things. So nobody's looking at you dead center anyway. So if your pose is pretty much there or thereabouts always.
Yeah, you always want to make it the best that you can make it, but you don't
worry about the minute.
Yeah, like beat yourself up so much that you build up an anxiety about making it. But I know I did that before, like in my first season, where like I would get so anxious about, oh, my feet need to be pinned perfectly together in my side pose, to the point where I would wobble in my side pose all the time and like pretty much fall over. Yeah. They're going to notice the falling over more than they're going to notice that her feet completely together that they can't even see.
Yeah.
So it's like, just pick your battles and be like, okay, focus on the bits that actually matter and make them as good as you can make them without torturing yourself over the tiny details that the judges in a lineup just aren't going to be. They're not just staring at you, unless you're the only person on stage, which even by default you win anyway. So they're not going to be assessing you. They're not just staring at you. They're scanning.
Yeah.
And you just want to be good enough in that moment that they scan.
Yeah.
That you're the package that catches their eye.
More so that you're actually just in your pose, rather than like, oh, it has to be a perfect angle. Just, are you in your pose? Like, rather than like, when they come to scan, are you still faffing around trying to get into your pose? Like, get into your pose as quick as possible and let them. Because the quicker you're in the pose, they're then going to compare yourself against everyone else. And obviously, if you are good enough, they'll continuously come back to you to compare against other people.
Yeah, I think that going back to the question of politics, I think that's one thing a lot of coaches play on. You know, especially coaches that have done well, they'll often go to people, you need the right coach, it matters who your coach is, and like, in reality it doesn't. It really doesn't. I mean,
it's a numbers game, isn't it? Like, when you really think about it,
there was controversy at the Bradford a little bit, actually, bikini, but it was more to do with someone got put in a height class that they shouldn't have been in, and they made themselves through to the overall when they wouldn't have made themselves through to the overall.
Okay. Now, I think that a lot of the time it's a numbers game. So if you've got a coach that's put in a lot of athletes in one show, by default, those athletes are probably going to be you're going to see more success from that team.
Of course you are.
So it's not always what it appears or what it seems. I just, even if it is politics, there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to be like, okay, it is what it is. And
well, people try and play the game, but I just don't think
there's no game to be played.
No,
the only sort of politics comes from that because of social media now. Judges might see you before you even step on stage, so they might take a preference in liking you before you even get up on stage. So, like what you said, being drawn back to you because I know your face.
Yeah.
But that's just the way of the world.
Even like you look at the Olympia level, like, you know, you might go, well, this person's going to represent bodybuilders as a brand better, but then you got people like Big Ramy that,
well,
that's Haddy, they're not going to be the best brand representative.
Well, I don't speak English, John.
Exactly. So even they win. So it's not that.
One thing in terms of the Olympia and in terms of bikini, I think it's very hard to knock those top 5 girls out of the top 5 position. That's where I think that I know your face and I know that is. Yeah. I think it's very hard as a pro bikini girl to break into that top first call out without making your name at a lot of shows, winning the pro qualifiers. I think it becomes near impossible to try and break in unless, for example, like last year where hardly any of them entered, so it was a different sort of
the thing is they're hard to break for a reason because they're the top 5 bikini girls in the world.
But is it though? Because when there's 40 girls stepping on stage and you've got however many seconds to run, I know these judges are obviously professionals and they do it all there, but you can slip through, do you know what I mean, like, and comparing, because especially at that level they are it's margins in it, do you know what I mean?
Oh, sorry.
I was saying, but you'll see them bring people back into lineups. You know, they do put them through the round. So I just think that's just a byproduct of they're the best, and you've got to be something unreal to be getting that top 5 mix.
For sure. I think, you know, it's very, you hear it very commonly about the IFBB Pro League that you have to show your face. You need to show up and let the judges see your face so that you become recognised and familiar. It's like earn your stripes. You know, if you're new to the game, you need to show up and become familiar. That's well known. That's something that they always say.
I think that's why, like, you know, like Sid, for example, like 8-time Miss Olympia or whatever, and because obviously when she won it, and her looks not really like other girl, like the rest of the girls' looks. The rest of the girls are a little bit harder and stuff like this. She probably meets the criteria, but no one else is the more modern version of that criteria. I think she held her status because nobody was that enough ridiculously impressive to knock her off. Do you know what I mean? Everyone was really good, but after she's won a few Olympias, it then becomes even harder to try and knock her off that spot because you've got to come in exceptional. Do you know what I mean?
Unless they're coming off.
Yeah.
Once they've established that side of things.
Yeah.
You obviously talked about that. Mentioned that drug one.
The last question quickly was, what are you doing now? There's a shortage of Masteron and
Primo
ball, and what have you to pivot to? I've not had to at the minute because I've still got access to that, fortunately. But if I didn't,
EQ,
it would be going to something like EQ, testosterone EQ mix. You can use Proviron to feed DHTs.
You can obviously use AIs. The only issue with obviously AIs is then dosing that correctly and not completely crushing. You'd have to do more regular blood work to find levels.
Yeah, but that's what you got to do.
But EQ's a great E2 controller. Like I'm a big EQ fan. I know a lot of people demonize it, but I've no issues with it. Some people don't get on with it.
And the reason is there's no human data on it, is it? It's not meant for use of it. That's essentially what creates that problem.
However, it is the foundation drug of bodybuilding since the event.
It's
every Olympian hasn't stopped using it.
It does the trick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you're worried about your controlling each, and you've got Proviron to go to, you've got AIs to go to. So there's other ways to skin the cat.
Yeah.
Like they used to do 20 years ago. You know, this is only of recent times where everyone's gone to like the black model, if you like.
Yeah, and I also do think as well. What was it? So Joe Richardson, classic physique dude, he made a post about it, and what he said was good was like, before you start worrying and going, where's this? Do you have an estrogen issue? Do you know what I mean? Like, rather than just, because obviously
people just assume they do.
People just assume I need to take Masteron to go with this testosterone. I mean, and the reality is test is best. Like, if we didn't aromatize or didn't have it, we'd all just take test because it's great. So it's like, before you, if you can't struggling to get these, do you actually need it? Because it's like I heard of plenty of people that can get up to like sort of 600 milligrams of test, and they're like, I've got no issues. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I know 600 grams and people have like you could milk them.
Aromatise like mad.
Yeah.
Everyone's different, but that's
It's working out whether you do actually need an alternative to start with and what have you.
You just have to be a bit smart with the selection, and I probably wouldn't lean into something like Test and Deca. I probably wouldn't go there.
No.
EQ would be the next drug.
That's the one thing that nobody's talking about either as an alternative is like MPP or Deca. No one's mentioning it.
People just don't get on with it.
No.
Not at higher doses anyway.
No.
Lower doses, okay, yeah, but yeah, that would be my go-to there.
You got DHB, but DHB is quite high level toxic. It's more like trend types.
I wouldn't mess about with anything else other than EQ.
Yeah, I wouldn't personally. It will be coming back apparently though. The Masteron.
It will. Actually, yeah.
The supposedly reason for it is because all the raw materials come from China, and obviously America's cracking down on the fentanyl problem in China, and all the labs that make fentanyl also make all the raw materials for anabolics, and apparently they're all on death penalties if they open up their labs basically from China until they find out and differentiate of going right. Okay, so supposedly around like October time, it's meant to start sorting itself out.
They will sort themselves out eventually. So the other topic we was going to talk about was off-season.
Because we talk a lot about prep, don't we? And I think that's always the hot topic.
When it's bodybuilding, off-season is the most important bit.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that a lot of hyper-focus is put on prep because people think that's the hard part. But I always think off-season is much harder. I always say that it's easy to stay focused and disciplined when you've got an immediate goal in front of you, but off-season still requires some form of dedication, discipline, routine, structure, but you have no immediate goal in front of you. So are you going to be incentivized to stay true to your goal when it's not within reach?
You don't get instant gratification with, I've lost this. Do you know what I mean? It's the head fucker, oh shit, I've put that on. Do you know what I mean? Or what does that mean?
Yeah, you don't see the muscle you've been built quite as easily.
That's the biggest question in off season is going right. So how much muscle am I going to grow? And I always go, I don't know.
How long's a piece of string?
It's literally a case of dedicating a certain time period, giving as much attention and as much effort as you can to that time period, drawing a line in the sand after that period, pulling back and seeing what's happened. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You can obviously compare things like if you've done a couple of seasons, compare like a previous set point, like okay, I've reached 110 kilos. How did I look last season when I hit 110 kilos? Oh, I look leaner. So like me and Josh, 4 weeks ago said, right, here's when I started prep last season at 116, here I am at 116 now. Me and Josh there's probably about 3 kilos of muscle gain there, give or take.
Yeah. It's best guess really.
We're literally talking about this in the car because I've been having a lot of conversations either on consults or with clients recently where they all have this goal of wanting to be a bodybuilder and wanting to compete. But as soon as you start talking to them about the logistics of what an off-season involves and the building part of bodybuilding, they get very uncomfortable. And it's like, the reality is that if you can't get comfortable with the build part and you just want to look in shape, you're probably better off just doing a photo shoot or something that just requires you to be lean and in shape.
Muscle model, fit model.
Yeah. It's,
not because you're not pushing to the extremities of things.
Yeah, but if you can't build...
Yeah.
Like I said, the clue is in the title. It's bodybuilding. It's not body shredding. It's not body dieting. It's bodybuilding. And the only way that you're ever going to be a competitive bodybuilder is to get comfortable in that space where you are growing. And let's face it, you're going to spend more time away from a calorie deficit, or you should spend more time away from a calorie deficit than
as long as possible
in it. Yeah. So I think truly, and obviously we talked on the last episode about what makes someone competitive versus the competitive ones. And I do think a lot of it is their willingness to be able to sit in an off season and get comfortable with what is required for their body.
Emotionally detaching.
Develop the muscle that's needed. And sometimes that means that you're not going to have your ideal body. You might be carrying body fat levels that are a little bit higher than you would like to carry day to day. Or, you might have to push food that much higher than you would normally be comfortable with to fuel your body to get stronger and grow and recover. Off season is not easy. Like, I don't care what anybody says, especially when people ain't clapping for you.
Oh yeah, that's a bit, and especially 'cause obviously social media reward and everything now.
Everyone thinks they can do what you're doing when you're eating loads of food and training hard. But the reality is, it's like, who's doing that consistently? Who's really pushing themselves to sit in that uncomfortable space of their clothes being a little bit tighter, their body fat levels being a little bit higher,
That's why I love those first timers, that come out of the woodwork and they're absolute freaks. And it's just like, I know you've just been you've just been sat in an off season for like the last 10 years. I mean, my fat friends call it just a perma bulk from birth, but do you know, actually, and I thought of this analogy last night, actually, smoking a J, going into the stratosphere. You ever seen that like that task? It's like sometimes in strongman, or you see those challenges, where you got to like get the cones in, like the two people like run up and down, and one guy goes to the first cone, comes back to the first cone, comes back and back, and the other guy goes to the furthest one first. I see that furthest thing as spending a large time amount in off season, and then as he gets closer, he can just go bang 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 bang, and then that I put as the analogy of
the hardest bit first,
being able to compete frequently. Then do you know what I mean? Because then you only have to make small improvements from year to year. Whereas the person this and then not getting anywhere and then still losing. I thought of it last night. I was like, oh, that's pretty like, because it's the more you spend going further into the distance, then the more you can do back-to-back seasons.
Get more of the work done at the start. Which is essentially your off season. I mean, for me, like the people that separate up, the thing that separates people from, being the better athletes and the ones that win are literally people that do the off season well. Like, again, I've coached hundreds and hundreds of people over the last however long, and that is, the top 5 traits of people that are successful, that is up there. It's their ability to do an off-season well. It's not like saying they have to live like a monk, but there has to be a certain level of consistency, effort, and ability to be a little bit uncomfortable with how they're feeling, and not react to how they feel and just go with what they need to do. Again, detaching that emotion.
And it's not even that complex, really, in the grand scheme of things. It's like, just train, progressively train as you always would have.
It's so easy.
Eat your baseline food. If you end up eating a bit more one week because you've gone out for a few off-plan peels, well, guess what? You might not do it the next week, so it sort of levels itself back down again. It's just making sure you tick the base requirements to keep you moving forward, and then if anything's not perfect on top, it doesn't have to be to the ground, to the 100% of 1%. It just has to, you just have to hit the minimum of what you need to hit, and then don't stress yourself about the rest. Like, if you do put on a little bit more body fat, okay, you just put on a little bit more body fat. Don't get me wrong, this is probably obviously going into an area of discussion, but on how much body fat, but like, don't sweat obviously on the small stuff, just more a case of like going, right, I'm just going to do this now for the next 12 to 24 months. And if I hit this level, I know I'm going to gain a decent amount of muscle.
But I always say to my clients, it's like every phase that you're in is temporary, right? Like, you're not accumulating this body fat to permanently stay fat, right? And even then, as a bodybuilder, you're not getting fat. If you are getting fat in your off season, you are not doing it right. Like, ultimately, you are going to put on a residual amount of body fat that comes with ensuring that you're in a calorie surplus, but you should still look in pretty good nick for that. But it's temporary. You're going to stay in that phase for as long as you can until your shape starts to suffer a little bit or your appetite starts to go, and then you pull it back and tidy it up again, and then you're going to sit in it again for a little bit longer, and then you'll pull it back and tidy it up again. And it's that push-pull. It's like everyone seems to be comfortable sitting in the deficit bit, knowing that's temporary as hell, but then you tell them they've got to do a temporary phase where they're going to have to push the opposite way, and it's like, I'm like, they're going to stay fat forever, and it's like, that's not the goal. Like, it's just to give your body what it needs so that it can recover, get strong, build muscle, all of that good stuff, which in turn is going to give you the physique that you're going to be able to maintain and want to maintain in the future.
What's your thoughts on how far you, or should I say, I don't believe that the more body weight you put on increases the level of muscle that you are going to gain. Like these die-hard old schools. Like, this is a conversation I've had a topic with quite a few like my friends in the industry that are competing and stuff like this. And like, we're at a level now where we're not like fucking, do you know what I mean, IFBB pro sick level, but we're big boys, do you know what I mean? We're carrying a decent amount of size. But there's still that old school sort of mindset of like, right, I'm just going to pile it in. I'm just going to, like, Matt, Saleh, do you know what I mean? Old school. Ben, old school. Like, they're just like, right, let's get the food in, just push, do you know what I mean? And put a body on, I'll get heavy, I'll put the most amount of size on. I don't think it actually, like, if we went back to the old school Jay Cutler days, you know, where he's got that big round the bowl and he looks fat as fuck, I don't think there was any ever need for him to do that. Like, because they were the genetic elite regardless.
He didn't do it every time.
No, that's what I mean. And what do you also see now with all the pro level guys in the modern day? None of them get fat. No, none of them get Ronnie Standard. None of them get like
Lee Priest style,
Juan Morel, Lee Priest style. None of them do it. Like, because I don't think it becomes counterproductive. Because the main thing I focus on is, like, you know, when people have like pushed their off season heavy and they are heavy and stuff like this. What people don't realize is food is a stress. Your body produces a toxin every time you eat to break your food down. So the more toxins you produce, the more they run around your body. It's also obviously extra body weight you've got to carry on. You speak to anyone that reaches 300 pounds and they ask them what they're good at, and all they say is fucking sleeping. Obviously, yeah, I get sleep to grow and everything like this, but you literally become counterproductive at everything.
Training gets worse.
But training gets worse. So what happens when people go into that first 4 week of dieting? Their training shoots up through the roof. So my outlook is always like, that's where you want to be staying in your off season. That 4 week pullback from where you are now, where everything feels great. Because it's like, for me, I know as soon as I hit 120 kilos, I feel like dick. And I'm never going to push past 120 kilos for the sake of wanting to get bigger, because my sleep goes to shit, all my niggles start flaring up, everything. I look like if I go on the floor, I'm like a ladybird trying to get off me fucking back. Like, just like, I have to like rock myself to like get momentum to get up, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I was just like, this isn't productive.
It's not enjoyable.
So it's like, I don't believe in that old school methodology of like that some people are still obviously die hard well with, and it's like, I don't think you should be getting too out of shape the more advanced you get as a bodybuilder. I think that you need to actually become tighter. You do become tighter anyway, because obviously you got more muscle, but I also do think there's less need to push that needle so extreme.
That's more the case. Like you said, the more experience you get, the bigger you get, there's less need to drive body weight.
So like all of these boys and girls, you know what I mean, that are at the cusp of pushing for pro cards, it's like, you shouldn't be getting off season. I should still be able to see splits in your legs from a guy's perspective anyway. I should still be able to see splits in your legs in the off season, like not just a watered over leg, because that's all going to represent that they're not going to be dug out on stage. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, what you were saying I agree with, because I always say to Josh, whenever I start a prep or a mini cut, I'm like, oh, I'm actually lifting stronger than I was when I started prep. Like, I always get that, and even now I'm like more than halfway into my prep, and I'm like, I'm lifting great. Heavier than I have. Like, obviously I feel preppy, but strength wise, my strength is there.
You may not energy for the rest of the day, but training still, training's still sweet.
But what I guess what I look out for in my clients is a few weeks of consistent fatigue where they're pushing up, because I think we all know that you can just have a bad week and feel tired. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. When you're pushing up at that level. It's if it becomes a repeat pattern over a few weeks, and then maybe reporting appetite is off. They might still look great, and you know, visually you'd be like, they can handle more food, but the feedback that you're getting from that client is that their body isn't handling this very well anymore. And then that's when you would be like, okay, let's just pull things back a little bit, get you fresher, and then we'll reset again from a leaner set point. So I think you do kind of maybe have to dip into that overdoing it a little bit phase to be sure that it's not just a temporary lull. But I agree with you. I don't think you should be spending months pushing to that I feel like shit phase of off season. For what? Because like you say, you're not going to be productive. Like, your strength dips off, you're tired all the time, your digestion goes to shit.
If I can avoid using a CPAP, I'm avoiding using a CPAP in every waking opportunity.
Well, you just have to look at it from a logical perspective. There's only so much muscle you can gain in a week, in a month.
Even with anabolics.
Yeah, like there's a rate of muscle gain that comes with it. So, you know, how much of that weight are you gaining is going to be body fat. Now, if you're gaining, I don't know, let's just say for argument's sake, you gain 2 pounds of muscle a month, but you're also gaining 5 pounds of fat a month.
Yeah.
If you're using a smaller deficit, you could still gain 2 pounds of muscle, but gain 1 or 2 pounds of body fat.
Yeah.
You'd still gain the same amount of muscle because you're in a small surplus.
It's
Like
the surplus, isn't it? Like,
surplus.
it's not how much. It's just making sure you're consistently in a surplus so that your
You will
body has
gain body
more
fat
available energy
much quicker than you'll gain muscle.
you're spending.
So if your weight's moving up very quickly, you're gaining more fat.
I'm typically always trying to sort of, not a rule of thumb, but like 0.2, like even like 0.1, 0.2 kilo a week gain for my females, and maybe like up to like 0.3, 0.4 for my guys. But anything after that, even like when you see a lot of coaches going, yeah, I want half a kilo a week, do you know what I mean, with anabolics, and I'm like, well, but that's going to be 2 kilos a month, and it's like, I doubt that's going to...
You might get that in the initial month where you put anabolics in, you might
yeah,
get a bigger rate again.
yeah, but I don't, you carry on like that, I don't think, and obviously I've learned more about this since I've been keeping myself tight, and I don't think it's held me back in the sense of like, because I've always been in a slight surplus, but I probably push up and pull back more frequently now. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, right, I'm up to 120 now. Let's pull it back down to 116 again.
I mean, obviously, the only time I'd say maybe that's different is post-prep.
Yeah.
It's different.
Where your incline is going to be a little bit sharper, do you know what I mean? And that's going to be different for different people, because we've spoken about that before on the podcast. Like, I can put on,
but you're just trying to get back to
week.
baseline. That's getting you back to equilibrium.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. And it's like,
first.
but I'll put it on sharp and then maintain.
And then level
Some
out.
people just do it like this. It's post. So for anyone that's post prep, that would be the exception
of course.
to the rule. But I agree with you on what
I think also as well is look like, obviously this can't apply to first time competitors, but like I'm talking about like more like the boys around my sort of level that are competing frequently and stuff like this. If you stepped on stage and then you were like, I could have been tighter. Well, if you go and follow your last approach that you did that got you to the point where you could have been tighter, and you do that again next season because you go, yeah, but I put on like 20 pounds, like stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, but you also weren't lean enough to get you to the top spots that you needed to be at. Your legs weren't deep cutted in, and this like this. Because I think also like allowing maturity of the muscle as well, rather than just keep trying to drive on new muscle, is also it can also be a thing as well. Like, especially when people's legs, they don't get the separation in there, like they're just driving so much anabolic, so much insulin, so much food. When is that muscle getting time to sort of mature and stuff like that? Like, you're just pushing more body weight on, and it doesn't then represent to you on stage. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, you're bigger, but are you better? Do you know what I mean? Like, Greg Titan, Scottish Titans, just quit bodybuilding, and like one of the comments from Drew Walker was like, I want you back to your Arnold size because you're actually better then. Because bigger isn't always better. So all of these guys are going, I need to be bigger, I'm just chasing mass, rather than focusing on actually what is quality. Do you know what I mean? Like, where is that muscle going? Are you just getting bigger? Are you doing what Arnold said back into fucking pumping iron? Like, are you actually slapping the clay on in the right place? And I feel like so many guys nowadays aren't. They're just going, where can I get fucking massive?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think as well, like, going slightly off topic on off season, I think the aim of the off season or the build phase is to try to stay in a surplus for as long as possible. So, you know, the logic that you're saying about it creeping up slowly, you don't want to be just chucking loads of food in, because before you know it, your off season or build phase is going to be cut short and you're going to be back in a deficit, and you're not growing anything whilst you're in a deficit. So the idea is that you want to drag it out as long as possible to give your body the fuel that it needs so that it can grow as much as possible. Like, we know it's no secret that people that can stay away from a deficit as much as possible are the ones that are going to benefit the most. So, and I think for women in particular, they think, oh, a couple of months of building and I'll be cool. It's like, realistically,
No.
4 or 5 months plus, if you can do that, then you're going to see the most benefit. But, you know, I stayed in a surplus for 8 weeks and now I'm dieting again. That's not going to do anything.
I've done it in the past where, you know, I've tried to do like literally an off season for like 12 months without dieting, and it's the struggle. Body composition suffered, you know, because you're just trying to get food in at all costs by the end. And if I look back over all my off seasons, my peak body weight has never gone any higher. But I've looked completely different at like a 215 than I did like in the early days. And the better I've looked is those off seasons where I've pushed for 20 weeks max, dieted for 8 weeks, pushed for 20 weeks, dieted for 8 weeks. And my body weight's never gone above that. But I built I put 20 pounds of stage weight on. So you shouldn't be chasing that.
I sort of plan for my body weight on stage next year to be pretty much around what I stepped on stage to win the British, but I'm going to be completely fat free.
Yeah.
Well,
Because also, guess my analysis from that show was like, okay, still need more chest, still need a little bit more legs and what have you. But my own self-analysis was, I need that lower back fat out completely, because that's going to transform my whole physique from the back even more so. So if that's a stubborn area for me to already get it out, outside of doing the Mike Israel liposuction, I need to stay tighter so that I can, when I do go into my prep, I can be more efficient to get down there and stay fresher, because it's going to take more out of me to get that off, that I need to stay as fresh as possible for as lean and tight as possible to make that more effective, rather than go, oh, that's going to take 20 weeks. Well, it's like, no, I want it out in 10. Because then if I'm going to carry on competing for the rest of the year, I need to stay as fresh as possible. So it's like my self-analysis going, okay, I could put on this extra amount of that, but is that going to benefit me more than digging that area out? And I think I would get a better look by digging that problem area out more than
I don't think you compromise anything, though.
No.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you are compromising anything. You're not losing out muscle mass.
No.
Yeah.
But you're also just staying leaner.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a trade-off. But that's the whole point. I think them guys that are just pushing up, putting 50, 60 pounds on, they've also then got to spend more time dieting as well.
Well, yeah.
Because they've got so much more to come off, and the chances are people that never get stage lean is because they start prep too fat.
For sure.
And like quite a lot of especially in the guys, like the overuse of insulin as well gives a complete false reality of what your physique is.
Yeah, to fake 10 pounds of body weight.
Do you know what I mean? if you're 300 pounds in the off season and you're coming in at fucking 230 on stage, mate, what have you done?
Yeah.
What have you done? Because that ain't real. It's the slin is the biggest one, I find, especially with the guys.
For sure. We've got a few minutes left, so should we go through some of these facts or bullshit? Some of these will be much more straightforward to answer than others, but Stairmaster is the best cardio.
Bullshit.
I call bullshit.
Bullshit. Anything that puts your heart rate up, innit?
I just say the one that you enjoy the most is going to be the best one for you, but you hear it all the time.
Shagging's better. I'm fucking blowing.
You can build muscle and lose fat at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, fact.
Unique scenario for that, though.
I was going to say, it's not common that it wouldn't be...
Yeah, let's caveat this. The only time that's going to happen is if you're a newbie, so you're new to train, or you detrained for a significant amount of time, i.e. you've not been in the gym for a long time, or you've got anabolics in play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the three scenarios that's happening.
Something's creating a new stimulus.
Novel stimulus, yeah. But for someone that's like Josh now, if he kept everything the same, he couldn't lose fat and build muscle to a significant extent.
No, it would only be the anabolics in my scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Anavar is less risky than Primo.
Can we like say a little bit why?
I say bullshit.
No. Yeah, well, explain.
Anavar's less risky. Did you?
I'd say Anavar's more risky as a result of its effect on lipid and it being an oral.
Yeah.
You just hear a lot of people bashing Primo and saying that Anavar is safer. I mean, I don't agree that there's any such thing as safe drug use, but can you really argue that
it's bullshit? Because the reason that people have issues with Primo is because they don't realise the half-life of the drug and their exposure is longer, which causes more side effects.
Yeah.
So if they match their actual exposure, they're going to be like for like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fasted cardio is more effective.
If you're assisted, yes. If you're not, don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I do it? No. Did I ever do it? No. So not that important, in my opinion.
No. I love fasted, just being fasted. So that's
I just
how I live half my life every day. How I live half my day every day.
Fair. Post show is the hardest part of a prep.
Yes.
I agree.
For a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah. Some of these we've kind of covered in general discussion.
Or should I say fact, not bullshit?
Creatine causes water retention and bloating.
I say bullshit.
Bullshit on the bloating. It can cause water retention.
But intracellular.
Yeah.
Where you want it.
I learned recently that creatine can impact your kidney function.
Nonsense.
No, I spoke to my doctor about it.
Because it can affect your creatinine levels, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't affect your kidney function, though. That your doctor would tell you that stop taking protein based on your EGFR as well.
I mean, they never said that to me. But
I don't think it would negatively impact your kidney function.
Well, it skews it because it drives up creatinine, which then affects your EGFR. So that's why
it's affecting markers. But is it actually negatively affecting the actual?
Is it still working?
I think that's probably more what.
Does it affect blood markers? Yes.
That's what she was saying. She was saying it affected markers.
Does it actually negatively impact your kidney? I would say no.
I hear that. Women get bulky if they lift heavy weights.
Fact. Fucking big trucks everywhere.
Yeah, some massive women because they've been to the gym. Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah,
give me something of what they're having.
No, but I get it a lot where people have calls with me and they go, I want to get toned, but I don't want to look like you. And I'm like, cool, but do you know how hard I actually work to look like me and how long I've been doing this for?
Well, I have this conversation. They send me someone go, do you think I could look like her? And I say, yeah, if you do what she does. Mm-hmm. It's like I had this conversation with Luce on the weekend because she was just like, she was using Brit as an example, and she goes, yeah, but the Brit and everything, look how she looks and stuff like that. I'm doing everything. I was like, you also don't realize that she didn't avoid sport from the age of 10. Like, she did every PE class, she did every fucking sport, she did everything like this. You fucking avoided PE and never brought your fucking gym kit. You don't realize that build up over time makes a fucking difference.
Yeah.
Look at all the females that are in competitive sport from a young age and carrying it all the way through, and then they just transition into bodybuilding. They're always the ones that look fucking better because they've lived an athlete lifestyle from a young age, rather than like, for example, Luce, she was a high level dancer in sick shape all the way up until like 18 because she like danced internationally, everything like that. But then she fucking gave it up and did nothing. Mm-hmm. And then all she did was eat one meal a day and was like a size 4. It's like, well, why are you moaning now at 30 that you've got no muscle? Because obviously you weren't doing anything to get muscle.
I hear that. I'll do one more and then we'll wrap it up. Prep doesn't fix issues. It more likely makes them worse.
Fact in every sense of the word. Psychological, health,
everything.
Do not do a prep to fix things.
No, we don't recommend.
No. But
yeah, that was our game show.
That was episode 12.
Episode 12 wrapped up. So you know the score. Like, subscribe.
And all that.
Tune in next time.
Bye-bye.